I'm very excited, but
I'm excited and sad.
I know. I'm so excited to see how our characters have gone through their lives, but also I don't want it to end.
I don't want to. I'm gonna get emotional again.
I've been an emotional wreck already for the past couple of weeks for different reasons. But,
but this is probably not going to help.
No, I mean my emotional fragility is just gonna get even worse.
It's fine. It's fine. Oh damn! Why
Just
are
have to
you...
kill. Just okay. Right. It's just that. So and that's how the glorious Shalltear met her end by the end of Lewis the Great. But no.
Sure. All right. Sure. Okay.
No, I will be. So everyone got their epilogues. I'm going to be reading the world one like Lewis because I want to.
God.
No, I'm joking.
Oh God.
No,
that's how Shalltear died.
That's how we all died, just by listening to fucking.
No, this is going to be a little bit of epilogue. So we're gonna do everyone's epilogues. And once on the epilogues, I'll run through session 0 for campaign 2. With all the rules that come with it, and all the fancy stuff. And we have a new person. He's gonna be quite quiet this session. I just don't know. Harry, introduce yourself. Say hi.
Hello.
Hi, Harry.
Hi, Harry.
Hi, Harry.
This
It's a fucking alcoholics meeting, isn't it?
Are you guys?
Oh no, I haven't started yet. Don't worry about it.
We ain't got to the drinking bit yet.
Well, this is actually new.
I've never done an epilogue before, ever.
Oh no.
I have. Well, technically I have, but I don't count it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
All right, it's fine.
Everything is fine, but no. So, we shall do players' epilogues first, and then I will do the
Who's
world.
ready to play Dungeons and... Oh, wait, hang on. What's going on?
I was gonna say there won't be a lot of rolling.
Not too much playing today.
So, I'm gonna roll a dice, and we're gonna see who's gonna go first.
Oh God, I don't want to go first.
Or was there any volunteers to be the sacrificial lamb?
I don't want to go first.
I don't. How is
How exactly are we doing this? Are we doing it as in like?
How exactly are we doing this?
So I'm gonna say how, because this is 100 years passing basically. So I'm gonna say, if you want, you may explain this either like a POV, or you may explain it like a story, like a legend, you could say. Basically, what your character is and what you want to reveal during this time. It won't be. I don't think it'll take that long for it. Okay.
Why did the longest person go first?
Hinrinn goes first.
Hinrinn, you're gonna set the example.
Yeah, you set the tone, Hinrinn.
My thoughts are so muddled. I don't know. Oh God.
4 hours as I go into every single detail of my museum, brick by brick.
There better be a fucking art gallery. That's all I'm saying.
I have a contribution to said art
gallery. Like I said, Professor Staz has got his section.
Professor Stat. Wow.
Yes.
Fucking what the fuck did he?
Has an eye for detail.
I do.
A
very specific detail.
I asked the story.
Okay, well, let me get. Okay.
All right. Seeing as I've fucking volunteered myself, apparently.
Oh, good job, Johnny. So valiant.
No, just because I should have shut up.
Sacrificial lamb. But no, Hinrinn, tell your epilogue then.
Actually, I better start off with a small one first. And tell you what happened to Drayle at the end of
yeah.
That's
what happened to Drayle.
Basically, after being sent home by the mysterious Pumpkin King, Drayle was joyously reunited with his beloved wife and daughter, Rosso and Ceci, after being separated for over a year. That night, when things had calmed down, Drayle turned his attention to the night sky and the stars, spending a week in quiet meditation reading their words to make sure the Draconic defenders were safe. Seeing the return of the archaeologist and the surprise little dragon edition, Grail concluded that they no longer needed his services, and with a small sense of relief, he finally allowed himself to relax. After spending a number of weeks reconnecting with his family, Grail returned to his job as head healer of the Arena of Geode. And now, thanks to his greatly improved skills in healing, thanks to his journey to and with the Defenders, because when he left, he was obviously good at your medicine and you're patching people up. But now, thanks to his strength in magic, a chosen few combatants could go back in for more fighting straight away, rather than resting and waiting for the next day. That right was usually reserved for the Leonin and Goliath leaders, Asterius and Stormstalker. These new abilities and wisdom, combined with Drael's stories of his adventures, drew their respect and friendship. This is how Drael spent his days, working in the arena, taking care of his family and new friends. Having grown so close to the leaders, he became an unofficial advisor to generations of their families. Drael would obviously send a letter to the members of the Defenders to give them an open invitation to visit Geode whenever they want, especially as he had built a special bond with Rosalie. The only thing left to mention is the day before her graduation, Ceci approached her father, confessing her uncertainty in her choices in becoming a Stars druid and following in her father's footsteps. Drael actually suggested that she should do that more so, but in regards of actually going out into the world and finding out about herself and what she could do for it. 5 years passed and she returned a changed woman, fixed in her beliefs and ready to finally accept her healer graduation. Drael proudly watched her quickly rise through the ranks, surpassing himself with ease, even starting her own family, ushering in the next generation. And that's where we leave Drael.
Aw.
That's the small one.
So sweet.
Oh, I'm getting emotional already. When he mentioned Rosie, I had tears.
Now next, the lovable Dragonborn who gave me a headache and has the highest damage. How much was it in one hit? Like
282 points in one go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
282.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fucking rogues. Anyway.
Well, to be fair, it's your own fault. You gave me a
It
homebrew item that let me combine my sneak attack with my cantrips.
Yeah, but I wasn't expecting Valkyrie to give you double damage either.
No,
this was afterwards.
Oh, no, that's the other thing, yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
That was
but
his
no.
independent
Yeah, he
self.
beat his record. Like
on my own.
I did that on my own. Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay,
Hinrinn, what did you
settle in.
I'm ready.
Right, first thing I do is during the month-long party at Shinx's City is I finally finish my grandfather's grimoire. Whenever I can get a moment to myself. It now grants me a bonus to my firebolts, allowing me to change their damage type a few times a day. And then officially retire from adventuring in quotation marks. I then travel to the Crown of the Empire to pay P at the Golden Peacock a visit to finally retrieve my grandfather's staff. What was supposed to be like a quick 5-minute visit turned into spending the entire day talking with the crazy bird. I learned many things about his friendship with my grandfather, even that he had been visited by him recently. But before I left, P blew my mind by revealing he was one of the founding members of the Elemental City, showing me his true form as a fairy, and revealed that the rank 1 was the final Fanander, the one who had destroyed his own statue. On my return to New Horizons City, I released the General's Rapier and the Mantle of Regency of their service to me, and offer them a choice. They can stay with me, but as free-willing, sentient beings, of their own choosings and own hopes and aspirations. I can find them a new person to bond with, someone better suited to their purposes and goals, because I don't see me looking after children or fighting the undead anymore. The General's Rapier elects to stay. The Mantle of Regency wishes to fulfill its purposes and even suggested someone who I can't think of anyone better. So, a quick trip to the City of the Moon, and the Mantle of Regency joins Sebastian, and more importantly, Fox, who attunes to it so the Mantle could help look after and raise their new baby and any future children they may have. On the journey back to New Horizon City, I discuss an idea with the rapier I have for the future, and he agrees. I return to New Horizon City, enter my museum for truly the first time because we were so fucking busy. Start building it up, but I'm interrupted by a time dust message from Jack. If you're hearing this kind of message. Although he does end it on a bit of hope by saying, I hope to see you again in the future, or maybe even the past, and gives me his katana. I spend the first 10 years splitting my time between my duties as advisor to the Queen, which I'd like to think as time goes on, Shalltear needs me less and less as she grows into a queendom. Going out on expeditions for relics, and working on building up my museum until it's a jewel of the former Dragon Empire, now Shadow Alliance. This is made a lot easier because I have Shinx as a financial backer, so you can imagine it's a lot easier to get items we've sold, like Shalltear's bow, or copies made from the cat himself. For the most part, the museum documents and records and celebrates the story of the Draconic defenders. Entering from an outside that looks something similar to the National History Museum in London, the entrance is a large open space with to-scale white marble statues of significant people the Draconic defenders have grown close with and fought alongside on either side of a pathway leading in. The likes of Viridius, Talion, Elizabeth and Fox and so many others. Visitors notice as they walk through there are black marble statues peppered in and find out these indicate their respect for those who have fallen along the way. Vincent, Creed, Valkyrie and Oryx. Valkyrie's statue has our actual holy symbol reassembled, still visibly cracked but in one piece on it. After the statues, visitors find themselves at a fountain that is made up of the members of the defenders, about twice their normal size. Posed, ready for a fight with shoots of water coming out of their significant items. Shalltear and me are our swords. Staz and Lug, their great axes. Rosie has one coming out of her staff. Izora has a stream coming out of her mouth as if she's doing a breath weapon. And Adelia magically floats above the others with a spout coming out of the end of her broom. Going left is the first true display room. It's just a brief history of the Draconic Empire before we came along. Or moving on to the true purpose, to record, teach and celebrate the Draconic defenders in our story. With the first room being a set of mannequins holding all our magic items. Those are willing to be spared with, or had replicants made. For example, my crossbow of power, the Dragon Slayer, would have a pride of place in my section. As you can imagine, Shalltear and Staz have a wall each for all the different fucking weapons that they had throughout the campaign.
I don't know what you're talking
The
about.
rooms are...
I only have one.
I've got one.
I'm sorry, a sickle, the bow, the lance, the like 5 different swords, Shalltear. Shall I go on?
No.
No.
Be fair, I'm trying to remember how many
Shalltear, this is an intervention.
No, to be fair, Staz has surpassed me with amount, so it's not
Fine,
fair.
intervention
It's
for both of
fine.
you.
It's fine. I have to have a range.
All the rooms are filled with art depictions, magic items, relics, my notebooks, and even skeletons of beasts of creatures we fought along the way. Like the electric flying beast we first fought in the hunting grounds for Lewis when I first came to the Empire with Vox and Diana and met the others. I imagine I would have gone out with Staz and Lug for a hunting party to collect that. All our adventures are there, the good and the bad. The liberation of the Druidic Outpost, the Pirate War, the Codex Tournament, delving into Oryx Labs, and even the time me and Shalltear blew up the castle with black goop from Sebastian.
Oh, that was brilliant.
And so many more. Every event recorded in pristine detail for those who wish to learn. Eventually, I add a lecture hall to the museum and start introducing myself as Professor Hinrinn Nemonis, archaeologist, Draconic defender. Getting to the end of those 10 years, I have to make a pilgrimage to the Elflands to attend my father's funeral, which is held at my childhood home, now the Druid Embassy. And in accordance with my father's last will and testament, we have a great big party celebrating his memory, telling everyone how great he was. And erect an absolutely obscene, massive statue next to it with the plaque, Hinrinn, bringer of hope to all druids. Afterwards, I bring my mother back to New Horizon City to live out the rest of her days with me. She still likes to beat up and school the Dragonborn mercenaries in the arena every so often.
Good.
During these years, I also spend my time secretly looking for a candidate to take on the Hinrinn family magic, remembering the argument I had with my great-grandfather during the tournament that magic is not evil, but the person wielding it. I looked for someone worthy of the power who could use it wisely. For a long time, I struggled to find anyone until one day, around 12 to 15 years from the fall of Deimos, when a group of mercenaries attacked the museum, attempting to steal the artifacts within. And during the battle, my personal assistant, who I first met as a young dragonborn with no powers from the Druidic outpost, who had told me I was his personal hero, Raven courageously defended and rescued some trapped civilians, getting them out to safety, and then saving my own life from a spellcaster attempting to finish me off as I defended my museum against their comrades, Draven throwing themselves in the way of their spell. I was able to finish off the spellcaster and get Draven to Rosie, or one of her clerics, to save his life. And impressed with his sacrifice, I offered him the gift of my family's power. He accepted, and I began training him in secret. If you guys think of My Hero Academia, All Might, and Deku.
Awesome. Yes.
I don't know what any of those mean, but sure.
I know what you mean.
I know what you mean.
Taking not only my family's power, but the general's rapier to act as their weapon and guide through their journeys, eventually becoming a hero of New Horizon City and the Shadow Alliance in his own right, using the museum as a secret base. Eventually, the time would come for him to pass on the power, and he would do the same search as I did to find a worthy successor. The dedication of the users and their source of power led the people to call him Hinrinn, offering a way for the family name to continue beyond myself, especially as I thought I'd be the end of the line. We're almost done. 25 years go by since the fall of Deimos, and a random person would come to my museum bringing with them an artifact, and it would appear to be like a broken key, claiming it to be the lost island that fell from heaven. I almost send him away without checking because the island is just a story my mother would tell me as a wormling. It goes, when everything was made by the angels, the King of Angels made a soul key that would help him make all the planes, worlds, and magic. But after he made everything, the key broke, so he threw it away and its island, banishing his creation so no one could see his failure. But legend says it's still around with one last glint of power for some hero or villain to find.
Oh, God.
But the person was persistent, and after a while, I cast Legend Ore on it, and I have my mind blown of images of the island as it fell and existing out there in the realms. I immediately begin to put an expedition together with this person to get research and find the island. I obviously inform the others, claiming to be gone from the city no more than a year, 2 tops. I am never seen in New Horizon City ever again. Hundreds of rumors fly as to what happened to me, including that I'm still out there looking, too stubborn to admit that I'm beaten, or that I am too ashamed by my failure to come back. Or secondly, that I was killed during my pursuit, and this leads to many other adventurers starting their own searches to find the Druidic Codex. Finally, and my favourite, I was successful. I found the island, and now can't be dragged away from all the secrets that I am learning. I leave which one is true to time, everyone else's beliefs, and most importantly, the DM.
I wasn't ready for that little
No,
laugh.
I'm sorry.
No, yeah. No, that shit, my lips are sealed. Already written. Already written.
Just a little gremlin laugh doing a little Mr. Burns pose like X.
Excellent.
Like fucking dog.
Like fucking Gollum, yeah.
Ah, Stazzy, my man!
Okay, I have to follow up Hinrinn. This is jeez. Okay.
We all have to follow up from
We all have to follow
Hinrinn.
Hinrinn.
We're
Oh,
fucked
fuck,
over
We're
Where? Okay, where do I start?
Okay.
After our sort of time with Shink sort of comes to an end with his month-long party, Staz has a terrible calling to the forest, essentially. He feels now that he has been away from home a bit far too long. He was never really meant to stay out of the hunting grounds for as much as he was meant, as much as he did. And with the destruction of what's happened to his home, he feels within himself that he has to make amends somehow, or essentially protect it from any more whilst it recovers. Departing from his friends, it's a little sad for him, because he knows that it is very unlikely that they will meet for long periods of time ever again. He talks with Father Nature about outsiders, and the rules of the hunting grounds have changed. Other than the selective few of Shinks, other half-breeds such as Staz, and the Draconic defenders, no one is allowed to enter the hunting grounds ever again. No outsiders, should I say. It is, due to what's happened, it's kind of, the hunting grounds won't really be the same. And Staz sets itself for his sort of own goal to be in the place where, I guess in his head, where Mother used to be. So he kind of takes up his own sort of mini mantle in his head to be, I know Father is rather passive, so I will be the one that is the offense, I guess, in Mother's stead. There is a little bit of a problem with that, as half-orcs don't really last that long. He sort of, how do I explain this? Feels like he needs to last longer than what his own body would actually naturally do. So asking Father Nature as like a boon, is there a way to extend the natural life that Staz has? And he does. Staz is given a gift of, for every 1 year, oh no, sorry, for every 10 years, he only ages 1 year. So Staz has what they call a timeless body. So it basically slows his aging process. So he no longer will die a natural sort of old aging death, I guess, in that way. Good news. everyone sort of Staz's family survive. Isaac, Raya, and Five are all, in their own sense, well. Raya and Staz have a very sort of very close brotherly sister relationship. Obviously they are both from their own sort of respective clans. Of Staz is with the wolves and Raya is with the Manticore. Manticorus has learned to accept Raya more than just beating her up a lot of the time. She has actually gone back with him, and they're sort of on good terms again. But you know, the two of them, both Raya and Staz, still talk quite a lot. With Isaac, it is a very you know, nice romance going on. It's a I would say it's not like overly lovey-dovey, but they have like their moments when they can sort of spare a few from doing what they need to do in the forest. What?
Have their alone time.
Yeah, they, you know, when they get a bit alone. Their clans are very persistent. 5 is you know, how can I say this?
Terror.
No, actually.
Oh.
Actually, no. He does become an ambassador for Shinx.
Oh.
But something is a little off with 5. After the sort of chaos of the world comes to a drop and peace sorts to settle in, 5 disappears. He becomes very, I guess, lethargic. He's very tired a lot of the time, and he's very the energy in him is no longer as chaotic as what he used to be. Call it aging. It's a lot to do with the Wendigo that he is. Staz actually gets a bit worried about him at one point, and taking sort of a quick escapade to a library, surprisingly. Staz finds out the specific Wendigo that 5 is. He is what you call a Machu Picchu. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Basically 5, the curse of what he has is basically with no conflict, there's basically too much energy to the fact that he has to sleep a lot of the time. So he will sort of go out, do some hunting, and then come back and sort of sleep for long periods of time. So it actually puts a strain on his and Staz's sort of relationship a little bit, because Staz can't see him as much as he would like to. Though during the times where 5 is awake, they do sort of roughhouse together and they train to the point where 5 teaches Staz how to dual wield axes.
Oh, jeez.
Staz, if you ever see him in a, 10 years or so into the future or whatever, he will be wielding not only Oryx's axe, but his Winter Howl.
Yeah.
His Winter Howl. And he feels no effort really in holding them both at the same time and smacking a few people with them.
So 5. Where do you see
Oh,
yourself in the next 10 years?
it's not exactly it's not exactly what 5 does, but Stas has put his own sort of little spin on it.
Fair enough.
That's that. What else is there? Yeah. Staz, he's, as I sort of said before, he's sort of not really looking to be alpha. So he has a talk with Alaska about the ins and outs of what actually becomes an alpha and what exactly happened in that flashback dungeon that we saw. Due to sworn secrecy, I will not reveal exactly what happened, but essentially Alaska is he cannot step down from Alpha, he has to be defeated. So when Lug is ready, he will challenge Alaska to be Alpha. The DM can decide whether or not Lug wins or not. I put in that he does, but I will allow the DM to decide. Wishful thinking on my behalf.
Like, we did.
Yeah, it's fine. Lug does get bigger over time. He gets to grow to the size of what a normal lightning wolf would be, except he's on fire because he never takes the bloody armor off.
Nice.
So this lightning hellhound will challenge Alaska when he is ready and confident enough. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to mention that. Obviously Oryx, after we defeated Deimos, sort of his body disappears as what was agreed. But Staz can hear him in the forest. He is sort of within nature itself now. Whether Oryx can reply to exactly what Staz says is, I'm not quite sure. But Staz can hear him in the wind sometimes and can feel him there every so often. I will leave it with how the DM left it with me because I actually quite liked the way that it was. 100 years into the future, Staz is sitting next to the tree that Oryx is technically buried under, I suppose. And he is waiting for Mum to come home. And that's about it, really.
Oh, that's great.
Nice. Halfway there.
Halfway there.
Rosie, you are up. Good luck.
Oh, thank you. Well, where do I start? The beginning, I guess. After the festivities with Shinx, Rosie returns to New Horizon with Shalltear and little puppy in the background. And she starts helping rebuild New Horizon alongside with Shalltear. And then she is called into this room with Shalltear, Shinx, and Talion. No, not Shinx. Talion
It's
and Various. Sorry, God. Bloody hell, my brain is a mess. Right. And basically, this was her trial for the quote-unquote deal she made with Deimos. And it wasn't really like a trial. It felt more like a HR performance review. It's like, yeah, kind of basically how it went down. It was a lot more dramatic when me and Brian RP'd it, but it's basically, the gist was, did a bit of a fucky-wucky, but it's fine. So basically, Rosie is sentenced to community service helping rebuild New Horizon, which she was doing anyway, so doesn't really change anything. But she's still given free reign to do whatever she pleases, really. So after helping rebuild New Horizon to its fullest again, she goes to the City of the Moon, where she reunites with Wintercloak, and spends her time with him. Of course, during this, I'm saying this is like probably like 10, 20 years, is probably rebuild and moving to City of the New Moon takes. During this time, Rosie would visit the party, no, her family, as much as she could to and to support them whenever possible with anything, whenever she gets the chance to, really. So she's always there with them if need be. Wish is still in contact with her, and they catch up through sendings every now and then. She has her griffin, Micah, which, if some of you didn't know, contained the souls of one of the children that was in the orphanage.
I fucking knew it.
Yeah, that caught me by surprise as well. Yeah, that was Wish's sick version of a gift at the very beginning. So I gave Micah a choice on what he wanted. Would he like to become the guardian and protect the new child of the child that Rosie will think will change the world because of how special they are? And Fox is in a Sebastian's baby. Or do you want me to find a way to free your soul? Micah becomes the decorated guardian of the City of the Moon. He chose. So yeah, that was really sweet. Over a period of time, Rosie settles into a new life in the City of the Moon. But over time she started missing hearing the laughter of children like she used to. And she talked with Wintercloak and he wanted children. So I bring into the world 3 beautiful children, 2 sons and a daughter. The eldest name is Byler, which is Icelandic for snowstorm. Second son is Tushar, which is Indian for snow. And the daughter, the youngest, is called Elise because I always wanted to name her. If I ever had a daughter, I've always wanted to name them Elise, and that was my reasoning behind it. And I spend most of my life just raising them and bringing them up into the world. Bilo is very ambitious, very outgoing, chaotic even, which I don't know which side of the family he got that from. He was very close to his parents, as well as getting close to Fox's and Sebastian's child, which the DM could give into more detail when he wants to later. And Tushar had more of a personality like Wintercloak's, so he was very much into solidarity and being protective of the people around him, and was interested in being a healer and how cold magic can be used for healing. And he was a mama's boy as well. And Elise, cute little Elise, took over Rosie's personality, so she was So not only was she interested in healing, she was curious about all magic and would spend time with her Auntie Fox and Uncle Sebastian whenever she could, learning about anything about magic. And yeah, she was a daddy's girl. She loved spending time with her father when she was around. And yeah, and I may or may not helped kicked off some events that might happen, which the DM would have to get into. But yeah, that's essentially it. Apart from spending as much time she could with the party members, like visiting the hunting grounds to see Staz, because with Father Nature's permission, all that. Being with Shalltear, helping build the city, and I think she would probably spend less time with Hinrinn the most because he's so elusive. But when she can, she can. And yeah, after spending time with the party, it's just raising her new family. And she finally gets to be happy again. After so many, nearly a century of torment and grief, she can finally let go and put a true smile on her face. And that's it.
Good story.
Aww.
Now,
Aww.
hey Ryan, I hope you're feeling fucking good right now, aren't you? You're
know, right?
finale. You're the finale.
Yeah, gotta be the queen.
Come on, Queen, take it away.
Come on, Queenie!
Come on, Queenie.
So, after after the final battle, where everyone's reuniting with all of their family in Shinx's city, at his workshop, obviously he planned for everyone to meet up for a party within a month time. So everyone going back to either with Father Nature or coming back with me and my mother to New Horizon. Getting back, obviously, with my mom and my sister and any of the other party members that tagged along. She started to look around the city to see the damage that has unfolded. Look around the area to see what chaos had been laid to her lands. Seeing the destruction of both the city and her people and our allies that was either chained and imprisoned from the kings that was here. She put focus straight away on rebuilding and recapturing what was hers. Over a short period of time, probably a week, he managed to summon back Rosie to get her trial out of the way, to clear up any bad air between her, the country, and any of our allies that may or may have not found out. So obviously I called my two trusted advisors. Unfortunately, Hinrinn disappeared somewhere for a time being.
There was a dig around the corner. I needed to go find out.
Yeah, so
Don't worry. He'll be back in 1, maybe 2 years tops.
Yeah, 1 or
Don't
2 years
worry.
tops.
He doesn't come back.
Hinrinn's gone to get
He-
milk.
He went to get the cosmic.
He went to go get milk and never came back.
God. I love how Hinrinn's was the most fuck you by accident. Just so you. Carry on, Shalltear.
So with inviting then the next two obviously advisors, obviously Saren was busy rebuilding the Infernal City. So it was Sebastian and Storm that was currently with me. Obviously we went to the trial, gave her her punishment. Not as serious as our first betrayal, that required death or imprisonment. For hers was a bit of a lighter sentence in the strictest way I can. With parting with those, I let her continue with her life. Obviously, promising to see each other or see the party within either 5 or 10 years, whenever any of the party members are free or about. Knowing the rules on certain party members and what they may have been doing. After a while, within 8 months of trying to rebuild New Horizon and the surrounding area, she got called to the Empire for a meeting with Otter. When arrived, saw that Uhtred and a few other of the nobles was there. We entered the meeting room. We saw Otter sitting on the throne. Within the meeting, she found out that the Drakes have taken over the kingdom, while both my dad and Inferno were busy fighting the war. In her heart, it shattered her, but no, she cannot do anything at the moment. She had to reserve her anger and hatred in that moment, thinking of what she has developed over the time with both Rosaline and the party. She obviously made a bargain with the Drakes at the time to get anything related to her dad and her family. Then she left, but just before leaving, she managed to speak with Uhtred. They form a sort of alliance while, for now, or for a time being, going forward, just to keep both of us safe. Heading back, she tried to find out why she hasn't seen her dad since the meeting, or since the war. From all of the reports, they say that they have not seen my dad. He seems to have vanished, which she didn't take quite well, but to face what is going on, she had to put a strong face on. After a time, a month or so, meeting up at obviously the party and stuff with Jinx and everyone else. Then going back, speaking very little of what's going on. She attempts to rebuild for the New Horizon, get it back to the full power it was, and even better if she could. She then, if I get the correct timeline going, she organized for any of the allies or people around her, if they wanted to leave or if they're happy to stay, cash in any of those favors or any demands that may have been needed. Obviously, Shinx kept his one to keep it for a rainy day, you could suppose. Within, obviously, the next couple of years, her and Nicholas, because of the threat that the Drakes pose to most dragons, especially the ones under my father, the Drakes were basically exterminating the dragons that was aligned on either my dad or Inferno. So for the safety of Nicholas, he and obviously Hope decided to go somewhere safe and away from the Drakes. Obviously leaving the Empire slightly weakened with one less dragon, but She rather have them safe than have them here. With Nicholas gone, and obviously the only two dragons remaining is Linashra and Wintercloak. Obviously within that time I'll visit each of the cities to make sure they're okay, make sure they're being supplied with food and support in the rebuild. Obviously speaking to Lewis over time, a bit frustrating, but managed to, he's still around doing his stuff. Obviously Sebastian and his child and Fox all happily living and continuing their amazing work. Obviously with then Seren looking after all the druids and thinking about obviously finding other druids over in the elven kingdoms. After a period of further time, he saw an opportunity was presented to her to recapture Fort Stone. Once used to be her father, but obviously because of historical reasons, no one could get hold or foot on Fort Stone. So she dedicated herself and with help with Uhtred, helped recapture Fort Stone, bring it under at least some rule, and bringing at least ending the chaos that was there, reclaiming it of sorts, and renaming it to Drakasfell, to both honor her heritage to her dad, who is still missing to this point. She has searched around, but still no word, even with that Shinx, since Shinx was apparently the last person to see him. With her doing all that, both the Drake getting stronger and her looking around to see how all the other countries have recovered or fallen, found out that the human kingdom collapsed with what's his name? With Belos passing, being betrayed by one of his own army, which was quite a surprise. Obviously, then that put shock through Shalltear, his Leclerc, and her brothers were there, but from her knowledge, she knows she escaped, but she doesn't fully know where at that current point. And she knew very few of the other princes that was there. Obviously, with both rebuilding New Horizon and rebuilding Fort Stone, she didn't get much time to see much of anything else that's going on around with the party members. Kind of lost a teeny bit of track of them unless they send a message or send a holla bird out to her. Aside from if I would go to seek them out personally. Further on down, she probably about 30 years, 40 years down the line, she found out that Lunashra was also planning to leave, which also didn't help her mental state of people slightly leaving. With most of her allies that we have slightly getting on the older side, various going in obviously into retirement, Storm as well because of their age, and Talion obviously for age as well. if any of them passed, obviously I would have sent message out to the party members to let them know of their passings, if any passed within the years gone by. And obviously recruiting new faces from either their tutelage or a new bunch of youngsters running on the block. Of course, over time, she then saw that we now have a weakness, that we don't have any, or not many dragons left. Just like from Wintercloak. Well, obviously, Wintercloak is Sebastian's dragon and is currently looking after the City of the Moon, doing out his days that side. Yeah, and other things. Yeah,
He's a bit occupied.
he's a bit occupied. So, with the help of Seren, and yeah,
He's got 3 other mouths to feed now.
That's me.
I mean, hey, it's not my
Car-
fault.
But carry on, Shalltear. Nearly there.
Yep. Well, she paid visits to the Crown to obviously go to the Golden Peacock for old memories. Obviously, speaking to our lovely bar owner for a time, seeing how everything's gone. Part of Hinrinn visiting during his time, just for a short period, and then obviously leaving. Posed the question to him to see if there's any dragons that are around, you could say.
Oh, you
That-
don't fall for that trap. did you?
Around.
Look for the fucking
Around.
white dragon.
Just around.
Around. Obviously, he spoke of his famous tale of the white dragon that most of our parties have figured out is probably not real, but probably just a fairy tale. But he spoke of many dragons that are around in either this plane or the next. Obviously, knowing Shalltear for her fondness of going on adventures and chaos. Obviously, she tried to find out as much information on a certain type of dragon that he put forward. With that knowledge, he and Saren decide to go to hell on a trip.
As you do.
What?
Just a casual trip.
Yep.
Oh yeah, just going downtown.
Yeah, I'll be back later.
Yeah, just like
1
I
to
just
2
imagine.
years, right?
I just imagine a group chat for the party, like just going to hell with Sam for Q for a few weeks. Text me everything you want if you duty free. Like fucking what?
Yep. Went to hell to find a certain dragon that had certain qualities that even to Shalltear's knowledge was quite amazing, and it's quite rare. So obviously the journey down there was treacherous and dangerous. Depending on the period of time that the DM would have set for me going down there and back, we managed to achieve it and bring back a new dragon, a very rare dragon called a Hellkite.
A hell what?
Alright.
Hellkite.
Hellkite.
Yep.
Okay.
There's like a string on this dragon that you just fly in the wind.
About to say. It's a kite that you get from hell.
Yep.
Specially made.
Oh my god.
From the history of them, obviously, what she's known and what she's been told, not many live till ancienthood, mainly because of their ferocity and their deadliness. Probably even more deadly than red dragons or the ancient, or even elder dragons when they reach that stage.
Jesus Christ.
Even the angels are scared of them at even adult going ancient.
Quaking fear, Dennis.
So obviously that intrigued her to find at least one. And she managed to find it after X amount of time. Managed to bring it back. But did speak to a fellow angel that was down there. Obviously, with her trying to obviously leave Hell with the Hellkite, she basically got stopped and questioned a teeny bit, but
What, by customs?
I was going to say,
Like-
customs, anything to declare.
obviously she then spoke to this angel that was down there, obviously telling me about the rules on obviously this dragon and the bad side that could happen if this dragon does reach of age, where angels may come to smite it back up to where it came from. But for her, it's a risk that she was willing to take. So she took the chance and did leave with the Hellkite back up. Obviously now with a young Hellkite by her side and Wintercoats in the City of the Moon, she was quite relatively confident of no one striking her at the moment. Obviously then pushing herself forward, she was like, I will make this as safe place to live as she could. She then embarked on a side of a conquest similar to her father, but on a lesser scale, managing to build a new city over time, learning new things on the way with her help from her mother and her sister, and obviously Mercy. Developed 2 new skills from her vampiric side that she didn't know was possible. She could manifest or copy herself, similar to the fighter's Echo Knight. So she can duplicate herself to create a copy of herself, which is quite fun. And obviously she can now summon a range of different creatures. She can either summon a dire vampire wolf, a vampire bat swarm, and a few other creatures of a vampiric nature. Over time, she realized that the world has changed in, could say, a more chaotic but peaceful way. The undead are, wouldn't say is a threat, but are in a large order because of how we finished the battle with Demos, leaving rank 1 to roam around still. So there's a lot more undead with him about, but obviously they're a bit passive at the moment, mainly defensive. Obviously Shinx is rebuilding in his way, obviously keeping our alliance the way it was, similar to how when the party was still together. Within the last 20 to 40 years, she found out that Sebastian's little boy did join the Drakes as a knight. Obviously, I cannot disclose any further than that on his side. But for Shalltear's goal and motives is to continue what she was doing, training herself, pushing herself further than she could. Then finding out later on that there's a threat coming that she doesn't have a way to stop. So in the last few bits of the years that she could, using the last knowledge of our brilliant barkeep back in the crown, she set herself down to go to the Shadowfell, find the ace card or trump card, just in case a threat comes to her and her family. And she decided to descend down into Shallfell with both her mom and sister in tow, and her Hellkite. And the rest is down to the DM's discretion.
Everyone's epilogue. So, very well done. Is there any questions before I jump? Any questions about any characters before I jump right into campaign 2? Then from anyone?
I have a confession for Shalltear, though.
Yep.
18 months to 20 months ago, we just liberated the druidic outpost, right?
Uh-huh.
You remember
Oh.
a book you and Valkyrie were fighting over?
I remember this. Okay.
I'm
What?
sorry, can you
What?
repeat
Can
that?
you
You
say
cut
that
out for a
again?
second.
Do you remember a book you and Valkyrie were fighting over?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Talion was the one who stole it, and I lied and covered for him. Even under Zone of Truth, because he gave me a little stone that allowed me to lie.
Tee.
I've
Fair
been
enough.
waiting so long.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
One of your father's big 4 books.
Yes.
I was gonna kill someone for that, but
That's a good thing you kept
Wow.
your mouth shut then, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah,
kill
that's
me
why I
now. I'm
lied.
gone. The
Jesus.
true reason why Hinrinn left
Right.
for milk.
He left for milk. I just love it. He left for that spicy milk, you know.
Yeah, that's spicy milk.
Oh,
Look, I will
Oh,
never
fucking hell.
children. I have children. So
Oh.
Spicy milk.
yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. No, but I'm so curious how our backstories will interact with each other.
Our backstories.
No, did I say
Campaign.
backstories? Fucking
Yep,
hell, I'm
that's
wasted
it.
already.
Thinking of campaign 2 already.
I don't know. I'm thinking how epilogues will like mesh together. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
how our characters interact with each other throughout our epilogues. It'd be
Oh yeah,
so
I
cool.
wouldn't have like completely blanked you guys, but I remember very busy Dragonborn.
We
I
got shit
time-
to do.
we got shit to do.
he's got
Everybody's
another
busy.
angel. He's got a 5. He's got another angel. But no,
I can't talk right
I feel
now.
like it's a thing.
Finding
Like
out
if
big
we
shit.
had reunions or whatever, it's like, is Hinrinn not coming this year?
Oh
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
I think. I think also
I'll admit,
during one of the
he tried to make them. He may miss.
He
he tried.
to the milk side.
but no. So on a side note,
Rosie, for the final
Yeah,
note, you would have found out pretty quickly after the fall of Demos that Hinrinn gave you a hard time over everything that went down.
wouldn't she have heard you guys during the? I don't know if Rosie heard you guys. I don't know. Would she?
No, just in general. After the
In
secret
general.
came out,
Yeah.
he was quite tough on you. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, he would tell you when things settled down that he pushed for a lighter sentence for your trial. Everybody else was like, before everything went down and we saved the world together, everyone was pushing for it's got to be symbolic and it's got to mean something. And I was just like, we're saving the world together. But obviously, Shalltear, in her infinite wisdom, decided to go the way she did, which I'd be happy about. Hinrinn was happy about. He didn't want to lose another friend.
but no.
Yeah, and during one of those reunions, Rosie would also have a confession to all the party. She already told Shalltear during her trial, but she didn't tell Staz or Hinrinn about it. So remember when Rosie died in the Lost Kingdom?
Mm-hmm.
Well, her soul was trapped there by the Lich Dragon that controlled the area. And in order for her soul to be released, in order for her to get revived, she had to come to an agreement with the Lich Dragon. And that agreement was after Demos is defeated, she will have to come back and kill him.
She has to
that's
kill
what
the
I-
Lich.
Is she? Because if she doesn't, she will become his forever.
Ah.
Oh, I can't wait for that one shot down the
Level
That's
line.
going to be a
Yeah.
good one shot down the line, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, level 21
Time-
shot, but no.
Time to save Rosie's soul.
But no,
Time to save my soul. Woo!
that was so yeah, that will happen maybe whenever I need to burn paper or something, I don't know. But yeah, but
Burn
that-
paper.
that's gonna be on the back burner. But no, it'll be okay. But no,
Right, now's the DM's turn.
Let that one shot cook.
yeah, no. But no, that's mostly it. You guys did very well. You guys survived. I'm surprised. Very surprised.
We did it.
Disappointed.
We did it.
Disappointed.
A little bit. Anyway, no, I'm joking.
I want you
He's
to
going to aim for a
suffer.
TPK now. The next campaign.
Yeah.
No. Next time I'm gonna rub my hands. I'm gonna get that juicy power word. Kill at level 4. It's gonna be fun. Anyway,
It's fine. You just do it with the Lich. It's fine.
multiple times.